Hello and welcome, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Authenticity. Today I will be playing the Ticked Off Chicken. I am joined by...
Hi! My name is Magic. Today I hold up, one satyr man. Yes, it is he.
God. I'm so stoked for this. So, I think our opening shot today is a mailbox. And a little chicken comes up to this mailbox and puts in a letter. And then they go over to, I don't know, I guess there's a counter at the post office. And they confer with the person working there, and they receive a letter. And they open the letter up, and they peruse the content. And they're just reading for a sec. And then they turn and they are about to throw the pitchfork into the wall, and then wait and go outside and throw it into a tree instead. And let's see here. They pull out a piece of paper out of their hammer space with a little bit of a magician's flourish, along with a pen. And they write something, and they bring it into the post office again, and get it into an envelope, and they get a stamp for it. And just before the envelope closes, we zoom in on what they've written, and it is, "We need to meet immediately." Seeker, where are you on this beautiful afternoon?
For some reason, I didn't decide this. Seeker, I am just going to say, is probably at just the park. He's, checking over his bags. He is going to go on, just a quick jaunt across the countryside, and by quick jaunt across the countryside, I mean, he's going to be walking outside of civilization for probably a while. And he's just kind of like on a bench right now, resorting some of the things he has to place them better in his bag so it's not as messy. And yeah, that's where Seeker is.
You are Seeker is halfway through this when he hears a little voice that says, excuse me, would you be Mr. Seeker, sir?
Seeker is going to turn around to this, who I'm assuming is one of the post office tunes, who can miraculously find literally anyone.
Yeah, this is, like, I'm imagining the very determined bird from Undertale, the one that, carries you across the gap with heroic music. Just that. Possibly, similarly pixelated. And they are holding out, an envelope marked urgent in familiar handwriting.
Seeker raises an eyebrow, before just, well, yes, I do believe that is me. Holds out a hand for his apparent letter.
The very determined bird very seriously hands it over.
Okay. Seeker is now holding this letter.
Yep. It is in TOC's handwriting. You have received a number of letters over the weeks and months from this chicken, because they can never fucking find you. And, normally, they just give you, this is what's up with their garden. An interesting thing happened with their roommate. This is what their brother's up to. Have you heard from Nebula recently? Like, just a gentle meandering, introduction into what they've been up to, interspersed with, at times, increasingly irritated questions about what you've been up to, because I can't imagine they get a whole lot of info.
I mean, you certainly get a whole lot of info about other people.
They're just like, no, I asked about how you are. I don't want to hear about, like, the frog that, like, you saw once. Like, can you, like, yes or no, are you good?
Well, you see, there's a very emotional journey with that frog.
Do you open
Yes,
the letter up?
Okay. Yes, Seeker. Sorry. Seeker is Seeker doesn't have any like knives. Seeker just kind of like just does like a typical opening of a letter. It's very jagged and kind of messy with the opening because again he doesn't have a knife. He just has his hands, which do not have sharp fingernails. And he opens the letter, and he goes to look over the letter.
Yeah, it just says we need to meet immediately.
Like, can Seeker kind of like inspect the letter?
Sure.
Like,
do you want to roll an investigation?
What is my investigation? I need to actually go to a tab with all of his stats on it. 10?
It's a 10. I mean, like, it's if you want to pull out a different letter and compare it, like, TUC has very odd handwriting in that it tends to, like, it'll be very neat and proper for a while, and then it'll kind of trail off into being messy and misspelled, and then sort of back to being neat in, like, a gentle sort of gradient throughout. So it's definitely their handwriting. And this is the normal sort of paper that they use. But it's very unusual that they wouldn't, offer information. They wouldn't, sign it. They wouldn't, like, this was written in a hurry.
Okay. Seeker, like, looks at the front of this letter, flips it over to the back. There's nothing on there.
No.
Looks over this letter again. Folds it neatly in the way it's been folded before. Puts it back in the envelope. He has like a collection of letters. Most of them are without the envelope because he does not have space to keep envelopes in this bag. This bag is very small. He places it with those, and kind of just haphazardly shoves everything else in his bag. Apparently he's needed urgently, so... I have to ask, is, like, the carrier still there? Is the bird still there?
Yes, they're standing at attention.
Well, I'd say, noting it's urgent, either it's urgent in the way that's not actually urgent, or it's urgent and ominous in the fact that there might be a death. Seeker is clipping his bag closed. Stands up, kind of dusts off his hand. If I cease to be, don't inform my next of kin, you won't be able to find them. And he fucking starts walking in a direction. He's got a bird to find, apparently.
Would you like to roll, investigation, or perhaps survival? I'll leave it up to you in order to find TOC. Because they didn't
I'm just
specify
gonna
a place.
I'm gonna roll investigation. 13.
13. It takes you, a sizable amount of time. But, they've put down roots in Toontown. Like, and they have, given you a lot of details about their life. So, a lot of their haunts. And I think that, maybe you're, a couple blocks from the library when behind you hear stomp, 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 getting closer.
Does he though?
Roll
Does he?
perception.
10.
I'm going to say that makes it because TUC is a very distinctive bird, and they are not trying to be subtle.
And you say that, but also, this is Toontown. Seeker probably doesn't assume it's for him. And he's sort of just kind of like looking around the area, see if there's maybe been a chicken around here. What are the obvious signs of a chicken? He wonders internally in his mind. I mean, normally the sign would be other chickens, but this is just a singular chicken. Maybe they should. Maybe there would be a conveniently laid set of tracks because this chicken is a toon. Seeker is thinking this while just like kind of walking through a crowd.
Behind you, you hear I imagine you would know what an irate chicken would sound like, just from your background. So you very distinctively hear just like a
Seeker kind of like stops, turns around, looks down.
There's a chicken looking at you. They do not look happy.
Hello there! How have you been? Seeker kind of sort of does like a he does like a little squat down to like be more eye level with this chicken. Hi, how are you? I've been getting your letters. Honestly, it's been very, very nice to get them. I still have all of them, though I may have lost one because there was a particularly strong gust of wind. TSC, would you like to interrupt this boy before he ignores our problems more?
If he's like close down to the ground, TUC is absolutely just going to like just sort of scoop him into a big fluffy hug. Like I think before they do it, they like hold out their wings in the "I'm about to hug you" motion. And if he doesn't, pull back, they'll go for it.
Yeah, Seeker is pulled into a very, very fluffy hug. Seeker is very confused, but does like the pat sort of thing you do when you're stuck in an awkward hug because he has no idea what this is for.
Yeah, like it doesn't. They like pull back.
By the way, I must ask what your no, go ahead.
Well, they like pull out of the hug, and they take a calming breath. And hey, Seeker, roll a con.
Mm-hmm. A con?
Yeah.
Oh boy, a con save. 15.
You are used to headbucks, and they are not actively trying to hurt you. But you have been headbucked by chicken.
Seeker gives like a grin and just kind of does a very, very gentle head bonk. A head bonk back. And yes, it's good to see you. So I got your most recent letter, and Seeker it's kind of pointless, but he looks around Do you need help hiding a body? Is that why it's urgent?
You know what? Hang on. Alright. TUC starts to sign something, and then they pull the notebook that you recognize as the source of all the paper that you've been getting in the form of letters out of their hammer space, and they sign, I'm perfectly capable of hiding my own bodies, thank you. No, I want to talk to you about something else.
What is the second most urgent thing I can think of? I mean, you're not dead, so that's that crossed off the list.
They sign, oh no, I am, but that's not important right now.
What? Oh! You know, I should have probably questioned why a chicken can write in the first place.
They do another magician's flourish, which actually looks a little bit familiar. You can't really place why, but they pull out a jar of a familiar substance, and the TUC is holding a jar of sauerkraut and looking very serious.
Seeker stares. Is it poisoned? Is it magical?
Roll a history.
Imagine about a junk. Sauerkraut. Roll a history.
Yes.
Oh boy, a history. Has a 20D.
You remember very clearly that the last time you saw TUC in person, they were trying to give you some sauerkraut that they made themselves, which might explain why they look a little bit offended when you ask if it's poisoned. And of course, you couldn't take it, you said, because you don't have space for it. Like, you eat what you have right now, or, you know, are you going to carry around a bunch of jars? And this is carried on, of course, into, you know, the letters, because, like, it's, okay, you don't have a house, neither did they for a while, but, like, you need a place to store food, because sometimes you can't get food, and you need food from earlier. It's been a multi-letter conversation of it just no, do I need to explain to you why you should have more food than just what you need for any one meal at a time? Like, and then, in your last letter, well, maybe I should leave this up to you because I have been expositioning shit for a while. What do you think was the last very aggravating, point that Seeker tried to argue in his stead for why he can't take the sauerkraut?
I think it's the very petty argument of it's hard to eat sauerkraut with chopsticks. Have you ever tried to eat, have you ever tried to eat something from a jar with chopsticks? It's not fun. And the jars that you're trying to get him to use are very small. And he has Seeker. He has the dexterity for it, but honestly, it's still effort he has to go through to do that.
Yeah. So this all flashes through Seeker's.
And all right, and he doesn't want to drink it. This is a jar of solid food. It'd be like drinking applesauce.
I will
Just-
say, by the way, that, like, actual, like, really good sauerkraut is, like, crunchy and in, like, shredded pieces. So
Yeah,
it would not work in the slightest.
it wouldn't. No, it would just dump all over his face, and then it would get his clothes dirty. It would stick. It would stick, like in his hair. He has those sideburns. It would stick in his hair. It would get all over the place.
And this all flashes through Seeker's head when he looks at this chicken and the sauerkraut that they are effectively brandishing it at him.
Seeker just stares at you.
I think there's a long moment where they're just like the camera like has both of them like facing off, and like in the distance there's like bird song and the sound of trees and wind.
Yeah, Seeker is just. You can't really tell. He's still wearing his sunglasses.
Could I roll an insight check?
He's probably just staring at you. Sure?
All right.
Alright, that's not too bad, actually.
Fuck.
That's a nat one!
That's a nat one. They're pissed.
Even with my shitty 13 deception, man.
God.
Yeah, he's just staring at you.
And they really don't know each other well enough to have advantage. Yeah. So I think after a while, TUC is just, they pick up the notebook and they're just like, explain to me, using small words if you can, why you have no utensils other than chopsticks.
Seeker looks at you. Does it look like I have the back space to be carrying around 500 pairs of spoons?
Why do you need 500 pairs of spoons for a single jar of sauerkraut?
500 pairs of spoons can be very helpful in many situations.
But do you? They write back. Do you know what's even more useful than 500 pairs of spoons?
What?
A single spoon used for sauerkraut.
Well, I don't have a single spoon used for sauerkraut.
They stare at you wordlessly. They are speechless.
Seeker doesn't know what the fuck you want from him. What do you want from him?
You know what? I'm gonna roll a wisdom saving throw.
God.
A 15. They take a very long, slow breath before they just like, okay. And they like, they put the jar back in their hammer space and they motion for you to follow.
I'm still wondering what's urgent, he says, standing up and starting to follow you.
They're not going to try to write and walk at the same time, but they basically they lead you over to a little wooded park in the middle of Toontown, and they step into the shade of the trees, and they're looking around the ground for something, and they sign, "What's urgent is your lack of incentive or your lack of
They sign?
fuck.
Go ahead and continue what they're going to sign.
I think that like halfway through their sentence they stop and they just like you hear like a little like vocalized, and yeah, they pull out their notebook again and they write, "What's urgent is the fact that you are making absolutely no effort to improve your own state of living, and this has been a recurring issue, and we're going to fix this one tiny thing today. So help me look for like a little branch, like thick and like relatively new, please."
God, okay. Fuck. Okay, I have to roll something. Holy shit, that's a nat 20.
That's a nat 20.
Holy
right.
fuck. Okay. Alright. I have how does Seeker want to rationalize this?
Fuck.
Because that is what that attempt is. It is to rationalize why this chicken would want to do this.
I mean, he could roll an insight.
God. Okay, yeah. I'm going to just go roll an insight, I suppose. 6.
You have advantage. I don't think TFC has advantage on Seeker, but Seeker has advantage on TFC.
Okay.
A 15. Okay, so with the benefit of just how much of their life that they've shared with you, this is a very a family-oriented chicken. Like they are constantly talking about their brothers, their little sister. There's a bird that they referred to as WWW that they are very like him in particular. They have been trying to find and they are worried about, and they are just like, ugh, this bitch. I hate him. Like that's probably a good like 70% is just them talking about the people that they love. And they, every once in a while, they'll make an offhand comment about, family is who takes care of you and who you take care of. This is, they talk about giving someone information so that, if this becomes a family thing, they can help deal with it. Like that's just, it's not something that they think about, but it's something that they talk a lot about. So you might get a little familiar tinge in the way that they're not thinking about, whether or not they should solve this problem. They're just going ahead and doing it.
God, that was a nat 20 on fucking not being a dumbass. Oh boy. Your passive insight isn't above an 18, correct?
Let me check. Because they do have pretty good insight. Where is passive insight? Hang on. Would that be passive wisdom?
It is your insight modifier plus 10.
Insight modifier plus 10. Fuck. That's a 17 then.
Yeah, you don't notice anything from Seeker. You don't notice anything from Seeker. There's nothing wrong with this boy. Don't worry about it.
Alright. Yeah, I think they're preoccupied with, finding a branch. Does Seeker say anything, or does he help them look for a branch?
I think Seeker is quiet for a moment before you do hear shuffling and maybe the occasional crunch from where he accidentally steps on sticks, as he also goes looking for branches, he supposes. This is what he's doing now.
Yep. Let's see. Let's both roll investigation.
Okay.
Yep. Holy shit!
Second net 20! God, can I do something funny?
Yes.
Can I do something fun? Okay. So basically what happens is TOC is looking very hard for a spoon. TOC keeps finding, not looking for a spoon, but looking for sticks that are like spoons. TOC looks at this stick. It's too small. Looks at this stick. No, this one's also too small. Looks at no, that's just like a log. No, that's not a proper size to like make a spoon out of. And Seeker, pretty easily just kind of like looks around. He's taller than you. Pretty easily looks around, spots like an accurate stick size, goes to pick it up and probably call you over to go like look at it. And then he decides to be a little shit. And while TOC is looking at one area, carefully places the stick to like where TOC will look next, and then TOC look over in that direction, and there it is, the perfect stick. Seeker seems very distracted with something else. Don't worry about it.
I mean, they will pick up the stick without comment. And they test the weight, and they check the broken end to make sure that like it's not like rotten and gross. They're like, you know what? This is a wonderful stick.
It's the perfect stick. That is a nat 20. It is the best stick you could have ever found here.
Yeah, so they like it's almost like a little piece of firewood, which is really what they've seen people make spoons out of in the past. So they they nod to themselves, and they call Seeker's attention, quote unquote, to usher him out of the wooded area. And they sit down in the grass, and they pull out.
Seeker's a dumbass. He didn't hear you. That was an 8 on perception. Whatever he decided to distract himself with, he is now actually distracted with. At first, he was just doing it to act like he totally didn't place the stick by you, but now he's actually distracted by it.
God. Could we see that, like, TOC, like, sheep herds him out of the woods, like, while he's, looking down and fiddling with something?
Yeah, I will say, God, I don't know what they're called. I think, hold on, I can actually look this up, because I do have... Is that what they're called? No. It's a certain type of wildflower. It's got like it's kind of like purple. It's got like a lot of those like little ends that you pull out. You probably put in your mouth as kids because they tasted weird.
Oh, clover?
Those ones. I don't think it's clover. Is it clover?
Hang on.
No, it's not clover. God, it's...
Are you sure? Because clover blossoms are the ones that...
No, it was... No, wait, is that what they are? Holy fuck, I never realized. Yeah, no, it's exactly that. Man, I learn something new every single day.
Yay.
It's one of those, and Seeker seems to be like, at first he was just like counting petals to pass time, but now he's like hyper focused on it.
God, isn't that just the way?
And so, yeah. he has like 3 flowers in his hands, and he's like carefully counting how many petals each one of them has.
Gosh.
As you herd him into a different direction.
I think they eventually, like, they sit him down, and they look down at the clover, and they pull out their notebook, which they have not put back in their hammer space because I'm not rolling again. And they sign, or they write, did you know that red clover stands for hard work and industry?
I suppose I didn't. Though I should really brush up on my flower symbolism. He says this, and TOC, he fucking eats one of the flowers. He eats one of the flowers.
Yeah, they're fine with this. Clover flowers are actually edible.
Like, he eats the flower and the stem. Just straight up.
Yeah. They see nothing wrong with this. They also, eat things from the lawn from time to time.
Look, Seeker is goat, and I haven't been able to emphasize that because he couldn't eat any of the things that kind of looked good. Anyway.
God.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway. They sort of have an absent, nostalgic look on their face when they see him do this, because that's the sort of thing that little kids do all the time. And the little kid that it just reminds them of someone. No, never mind who. It reminds them of someone who probably ate more, like, flowers and shit than she should have. Anyway. Yeah, they just look absent for a sec, and they sign, now, it's time to build a fire.
We'll read about a fire, he says through a mouthful of flowers. He shoved the other flowers into his mouth.
Yeah, they actually, they take out, they've got a pretty wicked looking sickle, out of their hammer space. Let me roll for it. Nope, that's a nuts and bolts. Why am I over here? A 4. Yeah, they pull out a wicked looking curved blade, and they lop off a little piece of the wood, and they get some paper and scrunch it up, and they start looking through.
So I am getting murdered. He says that as soon. Yeah, what are you rolling?
Can I roll insight on whether or not this boy is fucking with them?
Sure. $18. TLC, I regret to inform you, he is partially fucking with you. Partially, he did accept that as an option of what may happen today.
They stop. They put the sickle down on the ground. They put the branch down. And they sit on the grass next to you, Seeker, and just sort of steeple their wings like, okay, where do we start with this one?
Also, if you need a fire, I can just, and he's, one of the things for prestidigitation is you can just light a fire in your hands. He does a little snap, and there's just probably, a little fire about the size of, like, a match. Not a match, like a lighter, just kind of hovers in his, like, above his hand.
Yeah, they, They pass over the block of wood and they say, "Just turn this into like an ember, please."
Sure, I suppose. You just Seeker just kind of holds it while also like doing the prestidigitation on it to set it on fire. By the way, which is not a very good idea because
It's
he's still
not.
holding the log.
Well, no, it's a little block of wood that they lopped off. And they're actually
And he's holding it and casting prestidigitation on it to set it on fire.
You know what? I'm having TFC roll Arcana. Hang on. Because they're just like, this, this is his magic. He obviously knows what he's doing with it. He wouldn't be so idiotic as to accidentally burn himself. Yep. They're busy. They take the sickle up and they start shaving off bits to make one of the sides of the branch flat.
Fucking hold on.
Sorry, Seeker rolled a 1? Where did you roll a 1?
I didn't roll a 1. That is what prestidigitation does.
Okay.
But since this isn't like a damage it. This isn't a fire that's supposed to be used for damage. I think he holds like the block of wood in his hands for a moment and like internally goes, "Huh. You know, this block of wood is rather hot." And like after a moment, he realizes that it's hot. It's on fire. What do you think? And he like drops it and like kind of shakes his hand.
TFC like looks back over like, wait, what? Hang on.
I never did ask you. Where am I supposed to put this? And Seeker does just kind of snap again, and the fire goes out on the log. Because it is in the grass, and he doesn't want to catch the grass on fire.
Yeah,
he's not that stupid.
They they use a dead leaf to pick up the ember and just put it on the end of the branch. And then they look back at you, Seeker, and they look visibly concerned. And they are motioning for you to give them your hand.
God. Hold on. I need to roll something.
God damn it.
16. That's actually under your passive insight.
Mm-hmm.
It's under your passive insight. There's... I'm gonna say there's this strange look that goes over Seeker's face, but he gives you his hand.
Yeah, they're rolling medicine. Hang on. Okay. That's a 9.
I mean, it didn't like burn or anything. He wasn't holding it long enough, but like he is wearing like a glove. The glove is like slightly hot to the touch, and like the parts where was like his fingers and stuff touch the wood do look slightly red, but it's not that bad. It could be worse.
They do not look better. They are just, God, how do I explain the emotions they're going through right now? They they sigh and they give you your hand back. And they they give you like a light cuff on your shoulder, you barely feel it through your clothes, but it's just like a god damn it. Like almost like when your dad or your uncle or whatever like sees you doing something dumb and they just like lightly slap the back of your head. Like it doesn't hurt, but like it's just you're a dumbass. And they I'm rolling a lot of hammer space today, but all right. They pull out a flask of water that is like cooler than the air, and they gesture for you to just hold it for a while. It's up to you whether or not you take a sip, but like they're just they go back over to their notebook and pick it up, and they're just like, you are, as far as I can tell, a grown man living on his own. How do you not know basic fire safety?
Seeker stares at you for a moment. I didn't really think it through when you told me to light it on fire, and I did.
I assumed, they write, that if you had the ability to make fire, you had the ability to handle it.
Well, I can only make small fires. I'm no evocation wizard.
And thank God for that. But like, they're just like, oh my gosh, this boy is so stressful.
I put my hand on your shoulder, author. TOC may find him more stressful in the future for a specific reason I will inform you of later. Anyway.
They're just like, for now though, they're just, Christ. Whoever that is. But, they go back over to the Ember because basic fire safety, they do actually, they need that. And they, very carefully, like, it's starting to eat away at the wood underneath it. And, almost as if, it's the bowl of a spoon. And they just blow on it to keep it, burning. And they look back at you instead of side and right. If I ask you to do something that is going to hurt you ever again, I want you to unequivocally say no. Please, Seeker, you can't, you have to take care of yourself, because if you're not telling other people what's wrong, then you're the only person who can.
Seeker is rolling shit on deception today.
What do they get?
Seeker kind of.
What do they see this boy and his face doing?
I don't know how to describe it. There's like a there's a like a there's like a there's this strange scrunching of the face for like a second. Just that sort of like, that was weird. Anyway, sort of kind of expression. Before he goes into like a more relaxed smile. Oh, don't worry, I'll be fine. Really.
Roll an insight on the chicken.
I know my own limits.
That's a nat 20.
That's another nat.
My God, this boy is rolling high and rolling low. This chicken is not buying your shit. Like, they don't necessarily grasp all of what's going on, but they are not convinced that you're okay. And given your behavior and what they know of your personality, this has shaken them. They are scared for you specifically, and they are treating it with a seriousness that you have only seen them treat when they're talking about their brother or their roommate, or if they've made a passing comment about Nebula.
Okay, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine.
I think they just settle on the grass opposite you, and they look at you and they wait.
Okay. Okay. Oh, God, he rolled a nat 20 earlier on the wisdom. Oh, God. Hold on. I'm going to... Okay, let me just do something. Don't worry about what I am rolling. God. For any of you in the audience, wondering what the hell I just rolled, Seeker is now officially lying to himself, about the nature of the world. Anyway.
Fuck.
Even when he knows that, factually, yes, it is one way, he is deciding no, it is actually another. He is giving himself reader's bias. He just... I think he just stares at you for a moment. God. Before going, just... TOC, trust me. I'm fine. Listen, look. Sometimes it is hard to remember that things burn when they are on fire. I know. You'll probably think I'm an idiot, which I am. He says this very casually.
Roll. Oh, sorry. If you're not done, go ahead.
He is kind of joking when he calls himself an idiot, though. I will just give you that. He is joking. But really, I don't use prestidigitation to light fires often. And I was just, oh yes, of course this would work, and then I'd light it on fire, and then, oh right, fire does things.
And roll. I'm gonna say persuasion, because you're not technically lying. You're not technically lying. Most of the things that you said were true.
Why is my character sheet no longer up? My persuasion. 14.
Should I roll insight to contest, or do you want to use their passive, or do you want to go off the last insight that they did?
Roll an insight.
All right.
Or maybe a wisdom, because technically this would be like, logically, yes, that wouldn't work.
I'd like to do insight, but I guess I can do a wisdom. Let me double check.
Listen, I'm rolling shit on these rolls today. God. Hun.
May I have insight?
Not even.
Or may I have advantage?
That is... You're already skeptical of Seeker. You can roll with advantage. When did your wisdom get so high?
listen, there's, like, I do not use their dump stat enough, but, like, this is a min-max bird. You could be
14. I mean, it'd be a pretty stupid move to set some, like, he's actually being genuine and he forgot to do that. Yes, fire burns. How could you forget somehow?
Could they perhaps take from this that prioritizing his own well-being is not just part of his thought process? Like, he genuinely did not think of it. Because
yeah, you can take that away.
Like, I think that they hold your gaze for a second, Seeker. And then they sigh and sort of relent. And for a sec, you know, it's like, oh, they bought it. And then they look back at you and you know, you have seen the eyes of someone haunted before. I think there are probably some expressions that Seeker knows very well. And they pick up their notebook and they write. They turn to a new page. It's like almost as if to emphasize what they're going to say. And they write, Seeker, I don't. Perhaps this is my own bias because of the life that I have led and the things that I have experienced. But I do not want to make this about me because honestly, I don't have the energy to explain absolutely everything that I've gone through to you today. And
I mean, I'd love to know. Seeker, you have immediately caught his attention. Like, instantly. He is now leaning forward.
They give you a look. Like, I would be happy to air my dirty laundry to you later. But for now, I'll say this. I died because of love for my family, for someone who was more important than life. And I have never regretted it. And I have been very lucky that circumstances have made it so that I have been able to keep going and that I can seek out this person who I am looking for and make sure that she is okay. But if those circumstances had not been so, then that is where the story would end. I would have been no use to her. I would have been no use to myself. I would never have met you or Nebula or Trini, any of the people who I have come to consider family. And I would not be able to be there for them. I would never have known that it would matter to me to be there for them. If you can't prioritize yourself for yourself, take care of yourself for other people. Because they will need you. If not for a situation of danger, then because they will want you there. Don't worry me. Magic.
worry. Everything is fine.
Fuck.
Seeger seems to consider your words and gives it a sigh and a nod and goes, well, I certainly try my best.
They look at you, and, they, like, their eyes are no longer piercing into their soul, but they still look very sad, and they sign. Would you give me your word? Would you make me that promise?
Oh, God. Okay, give me a moment. Just...
Alright, are you good?
I'm trying to decide what Seeker wants to do here. Seeker is going to say, I promise I won't actively try to get myself killed. Like a fool.
TUC is speechless
I mean, I'm not going to be...
TUC is speechless
I'm not going to be running in front of...
Like, they're just like, is that the most you can give me? Is I won't, like, jump off a cliff? You roll an insight on the chicken, who is staring at you like you grew a third head. Like,
8.
roll advantage. 20. They are racked with disbelief that is your version of a reassuring promise. I think honestly, like, they're stunned enough that it's not like worry, although that will come in probably the next few seconds. It's just like, are you for real?
Don't look at me like that. I have some self-preservation skills. I mean, I don't plan on retiring anytime soon either.
There. God, what does DOC even do with this?
Hold on, I'm gonna roll another wisdom.
Absolutely.
That's even worse. It's worse than 13. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
Every time you say that, my blood pressure rises.
Secret. God.
I'm gonna. TOC's reaction to this. Oh, you go.
Do you want me to give you a distraction?
I would like to give TOC's reaction to what he just said. It maybe in the next, few minutes in game.
Okay. Hey TSC, do you remember that ember you put on the stick?
Mm.
You know, the active fire?
Alright, well,
that you left unattended.
Let me roll to see if they remember it. Because I actually have done this, and, like, the person who taught me, like, would just leave the ember on the piece of wood. And because it was just an ember, it would be fine, and it would be more likely to die out than catch anything on fire. But, Seeker,
This is
like,
Toonkind.
it is Toonkind.
It
Alright.
is Toonkind.
Let me roll, let's see, I guess wisdom again.
I would say this is actually probably a history check.
Fuck, alright. Okay, it's above a 10.
It's above a 10. Hey, TSC, this is Toontown. With Toon trees. With a fire.
I think
right over there. When I say fire, I mean it's no longer an ember. There's now a small flame.
Here's how it pans out. They, like, without an insight check, Seeker, you can see their expression go from disbelief to, like, anger and, like, fury. And then it just sort of, like, that peers out, and they look worried and uncertain. And then they kind of freeze because they smell something burning. Shit. And they, like, go over and, like, they pick it out of the grass, and they're just like, they don't run around with it or anything, but they are looking at this effective torch that they've made. And they ask for the flask that Seeker is still holding, and they just pour it over the
Seeker doesn't hand over the glass. He just he looks at you with a mischievous expression and goes, I don't see why you'd need that. And he does snap again, and the fire snaps out because prestidigitation is a very good utility spell.
They test it with the back of their wing to see if it's still hot.
It's still pretty hot. It just snuffs it out. It doesn't, like...
Yeah, they will pour the water over the blackened bit. Like, because they're not going to sit there for, however long it takes for this thing to stop burning. And I'm going to say that it's not completely ruined. Like, it's now a very deep spoon.
Like, deep spoon?
It's a deep spoon. And they, they just, they sit back down and they start scooping out the gross burnt parts of the bowl of the spoon. And they're just like, Jesus. I think I'm okay with them just sitting in silence for a while they, like, get the burnt parts of the wood out. Eventually, they, I think they look back up at Seeker and they go, you're not as good a liar as you think you are. You should know. They do write it with one hand.
You want to roll insight?
Sure.
That's the wrong chat.
Fuck, okay. Do you still want to use it, or shall I roll again?
You can roll again.
Alright. Nine.
Damn. What you get in response is, well, you've taken me a bit off my game, I'll be honest. I mean, I expected to be burying a body, maybe getting stabbed. Not this.
I think they pause and they write in the notebook, when have I ever given you reason to think I would stab you? Like, burying dead, like, I imagine dead bodies, I can imagine expecting me to have, one or two on hand from time to time. But I don't think I've given you that many knives over the course of our conversation.
Oh no, you haven't. It's just it's fun trying to guess the ending. Not where I expected it to go.
They just, alright. And after a while, they show you, they've made basically just a little, a round divot in the wood where the ember was. And, they show it to you, just sort of demonstratively. You don't have to do anything with this information. And they start rounding out, there's a stem, and then there's a head to the spoon. And, it takes them a while, and it's simple work. It's definitely nothing fancy. But after a while, they are very conspicuously making a spoon. Do with this information what you will.
Oh, God.
Actually,
boy.
I think I should roll to see if they can get the sandpaper out of their hammer space. Why do I keep wanting to go back to the nuts and bolts? Okay. 8. Yeah, they take a piece of sandpaper and they just start sanding the splinters out.
Nice.
Yeah. Nothing much to say about that. They're just doing it.
God. I'm going to just roll another wisdom check. Don't mind me. Just rolling wisdom over in my corner. That's another nat 20. Okay.
What the fuck? That's the fourth nat 20 of this session.
God.
We gotta get this boy to Vegas.
Well, at least it wasn't any lower than a 10. Because I can tell you what would have happened if it was lower than a 10. Later, though. Anyway.
Okay.
I think Seeker just sits there in silence with you while you finish this spoon.
Yeah. Eventually, it's getting to probably the later part of, we can say it's afternoon. They, hold it up to the light, and they look it over very carefully for, splinters, sharp parts, sharp edges, because in the span of a few minutes, this boy has managed to injure himself pretty, not terribly, but, things could have broken pretty darn bad.
1 point. He took, 1 point of damage.
Magic. TFC might not know, but I know his hit points. He cannot spare any. And they just sort of, they look it over with a good, an air of satisfaction, and they hold it out to you.
What, you're not going to go with any decorations?
They look down at the thing, say, do you want to decorate it?
I mean, I'm not quite sure what I'd decorate it with.
They sort of look around. They go over to a different part of the lawn, and they pick something and they wrap it around the end in sort of a bow. And they have, when they hand it back to you, they have neatly tied a clover blossom around the stem of the spoon. They're like, it won't last, but I suppose it's a little bit more present-like now.
Why, thank you. Do you go to hand the spoon over to Seeker?
Yeah, they go to do it, and then they draw back, and they're like, I think that they like consider whether or not they need to say this out loud. But honestly, they don't feel like they can they can assume much about this boy right now. So I think they stop and they go, they write in the notebook, now this is for eating with. You can eat the blossom, you cannot eat the spoon. Yes?
Seeker, you don't have to roll insight. Seeker gives you an incredulous expression, goes, do you think I want splinters in my mouth? Please, I've had enough of eating wood when I was a child.
They shrug, like they have all sorts of people who eat wood. They don't know.
Look, Seeker also knows someone who eats wood.
God.
I'm not going to eat it.
They give him sort of a sour grandparent look, and they, hand it over, like, just take it. My God.
Seeker takes it, looks it over, God, I kind of want Seeker to, what do I want Seeker to do with it? Cause he does want to, like, say something for playful banter. God, hold on. He's looking over the spoon, and he's going to say, I think you missed a splinter here. He is obviously lying, because that is another 14 on his deception. He is fucking with you. This is a fuck with you roll.
TUC, they're putting the sickle away. They're, cleaning up some of the scraps of wood, and they're just like, oh no, whatever shall we do?
I guess it'll just stab me and I'll die on a spindle.
They kind of clip his shoulder a little bit, they're not doing damage, they're just like, oh, you so-and-so. And a little bit of their outline has come back from the frankly staggering revelation that was that, highly specific and useless promise. But they sober and they write in the
There's
notebook.
a reason it was highly specific and useless.
It was highly specific magic. Imagine, hey, Magic, what if I was hey, have a good day today, and you were like, I promise not to get hit by a piano. That's not what I asked for. That's not what I asked for. Good job not getting hit by a piano, but that's not what I asked for.
Look, listen, Seeker's not going to promise something he can't keep.
God.
That's just not what he does. He can't do that.
He can't actively try to keep himself out of trouble. He can only promise not to actively try to put himself in danger.
If he doesn't get into trouble, then how will he get stories to tell? Isn't that the entire point of signing up for this games on the server? To get into trouble?
God.
Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
you see, like, they sober and they sign. I don't know what else to say to convince you that it's important that you survive. Not just not try to die, but actively survive.
Well,
Just
of course I have to survive. Well, so listen, I have a plethora of stories on hand, and I will tell you, some of them are not native to this region, and some of them are very, very particular, and if I go, they're gone!
they write that's the only reason you can think of to make it home. And that's the only reason you can think of to keep yourself out of trouble, to make sure that you get out of the trouble that you get into.
Motherfucker.
They're just, they're not being, adversarial about this. They're not confronting you. But
well, it certainly feels like a confrontation.
Well, they're sort of doing that very annoying thing that people sometimes do when they're saying what you just said back to you. And having you listen to it. Like, this is what you just said. Does this sound... Like, they're just kind of looking for your reaction to this.
Secret buddy, okay. Secret just kind of goes, well, it's the main reason I can think of, though there is also talking to the journeyman again. I do have to go visit Avian. I was going to go visit Avian before you called me. Do I actually have everything for that? I swear I had some books around here I need to bring. No, well.
They write, there are more important reasons for you to keep living than the stories you tell or the errands that you have yet to run. But if that's what keeps you going, then...
I mean, visiting journeyman isn't really an errand.
They look at you.
Oh, just something I like doing.
They look at you like that you want, like... That's what you want to argue? The definition of the word errand.
Yes! In fact, it is. Because it is important that the proper definition of errand is implied.
They foredone, but if that's what does it, then I will be grateful. Take care of yourself. And like, that's something that they say, just sort of offhand at the bottom of their letters, just like, have fun, take care of yourself, have a good day. But now they're giving it sort of this weight.
This is me, Magic, debating on what to say, because... Wait. I'm going to go still off of that 21, because this is technically one big main lie. Seeker is just going to kind of give you a sort of carefree smile and shrug. Don't worry. I will take care of myself. I won't be going anywhere for a long while yet. Well, I'll be traveling halfway across the continent on foot, but... he says this offhand.
Yeah, they... They, like, they nod because they know that this, they're not going to ask him to, like, stay in a locked room or anything. And I think that they finally just like, okay, I've tortured this boy enough for one afternoon, and they sign. I'm also planning a trip, with my brother and my friend going.
Really?
Yeah, they they look kind of like you've seen people be gladder about going to funerals than they have about like the trip that they're planning.
Mm-hmm.
Like they like there's definitely a story there. Um but they just sort of reshuffled their wings and they go, well, stay safe. I will look forward to hearing your recollection of your events. It's uh it's very it's very uncommon that uh I get to hear from a storyteller of your style and talent. Very
Uh,
homelike.
Seeker, Seeker does. I will say, Seeker does seem to like perk up more at that. Like, yes, I am a good storyteller, of course.
Mm,
He goes, why, thank you. I've been studying most of my life. Uh,
mm,
it's that you don't even have to roll for this. It's that tone of like, yeah, I know I'm good. Trust me.
yeah, they're fine
Uh,
with that. Like you're talking to a chicken. Chickens are very prideful creatures at times. Like they approve of like, yes, I am very good at this.
well,
Um,
I suppose they should be off soon. I did want to get a head start before sundown, though I'm not sure I'll make it now.
mm,
Uh,
they sort of wave you off like, all right, you can escape now. Take this one with you because you need one. And they bring out the jar of sauerkraut again, and they bring out two, and there's like one for right now, one for later. It's not going to take up that much space.
all right.
Hmm.
Seeker takes the jars, sort of like carefully places both in his bag, along with the spoon.
Hmm. And they're just you know, they sort of they stand up and they offer you another hug. It's up to you whether or not they Seeker takes it.
Seeker will take the hug.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
it's still that like two pats on the back.
Yeah,
But
you go. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
They squeeze very tightly. It is the hug of someone who cares very much. And like I think instead of stepping away, they like pull back and put their wings on your shoulder, and they just like give you a like it's sort of a bracing look. Like go get into trouble. Go forth without fear. If that makes sense, like they are encouraging shenanigans because they don't know Seeker super well, but they do know that he is happiest uh, when he is involved. Like when he is when there are things going on that are interesting.
Yeah. Seeker is going to give you the smile. probably just a small little head pat before standing up, doing a little stretch because you are very small. Goes, well, I'll be off now. Do take care as well, yeah?
They nod. And I think they go their separate ways. And
Can I do an epilogue bit?
I also have an epilogue. Do you want to go first or second?
I would like to go second, actually.
Okay. In that case, the camera stays on TOC as they put their notebook away, put their pens away. They just make sure that they aren't, littering wood everywhere. And they start to walk out of the park. And they choke for a little bit, like almost when you're suppressing a sob, but they weren't crying beforehand, and they just they walk off the path and they sit somewhere where they're not going to be in someone's way, and they just huddle down and they just shake for a while because man, they eventually they get up and go home, but for a sec they are so worried and they don't know what to do.
The camera cuts back to Seeker. He walked in the opposite direction of TOC, wherever TOC was going. But it does seem rather odd as he turns down an alley away from the crowds and stands in the middle for a moment before basically almost collapsing against a wall, just clutching his head. He's taking a few deep breaths, but God, it was a miracle he's rolled above a 10 the entire time. Because any lower, and I will put my hand on your shoulder, author, he would have bolted.
God.
Seeker has realized the main mistake, probably not the one you may be thinking of worrying TOC. He has made a different mistake personal to him. He doesn't know what to do about it. And that is where I'm going to end it off.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right, recording stop.